1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we got audio levels. This is meteorologist Steve Horstmeyer. If you happen to be listening in early off Facebook, that is our audio level check. And coming up in under 3 minutes, we'll have our live 7:15 weather show, talking about a lot of stuff coming to the tri-state. Under 2 minutes, everyone. I'll be right with you. This is meteorologist Steve Horstmeyer. Okay, everybody, this is meteorologist Steve Horstmeyer. According to my clock, it is now 7:15, and it is time for the First Alert streaming weather show that we do every Monday through Friday at this time in the tri-state. And what you are looking at there is you are looking at our camera out of Mount Auburn that shows a look of the sky. If you look toward Norwood, if you go right down the center of the screen, and you can see the clearing taking place, and you can see the traffic on I-71, excuse me, is doing pretty well. So hi there. I'm Steve Horstmeyer, Chief Meteorologist here at Fox 19, and we are going to be talking about a lot of kinds of weather. There's lots going on over the next couple of weeks, and we're going to try and cover it all for you. And again, the purpose of this show is A, to give you the weather information you need, B, to make it available at times when we usually don't have local weather available. We do this at noon, Monday through Friday, 7:15 Monday through Friday. We do it at 6 p.m. Saturday and Sunday, and we are going to restart our 10:15 a.m. show on Saturday and Sunday here in a couple of weeks. But overall, we again are trying to make it available whenever you can see it, make it more comprehensive than before, and kind of make it interactive so you can ask questions and all that around the tri-state. So let's go ahead and take a look at the temperature. The temperature is now down to 59 at the International Airport. We're looking at airport temperatures that look like this. Excuse me a second. Okay, and the airport temperatures 50s in a number of locations. Notice it's dropped to 59 at CVG, Luncombe, Batavia, Falmouth, Maysville, Madison, Lebanon, Wilmington, I can go on, Batesville, Richmond, Middletown, Washington Courthouse, Chillicothe, Portsmouth, and Ashland. All those are in the 50s. Just a few others are in the 60s. Now, the winds also have died down. Now, that wind advisory that the National Weather Service had put into effect expired at 7 o'clock. And so that's over, and you can see why if you look at the wind speed values, and these are sustained winds here. They're down. 18 at Wilmington is the highest you see on this map. Many areas lower than that. And then, of course, the wind gusts are always also important, and they're down also. We can go ahead and take a look at the wind gust now. And notice a number of spots aren't even reporting gusts any longer. CVG and Wilmington tied at 29 for the highest gust, 23 in Springboro, 22 in Madison, and in the teens elsewhere. And the spots that don't have a gust listed, they're just not gusting. So, again, that's over, and it wasn't quite as strong as anticipated. The highest wind speed that the National Weather Service, the last report I saw, reported in their entire area, which includes the Fox 19 Now viewing area, was 54 up at Ohio State University Airport in Columbus. We saw 44 up in the Springboro area, and that's the highest that I remember seeing during the day today. And very few power outages. I actually didn't see any, and so we were expecting that possibility. But with the air warm enough so that the wires weren't as brittle as they would be under colder weather, with the wind velocity not quite as high, we lucked out with that. Okay, now here is what's going on. Now there are some showers in here that we really didn't expect to see. We thought there might be a few sprinkles, but we've got a couple of hours of shower activity that will move through the tri-state. And let's tell you what we're going to try and do here. We're going to try and draw which way these are going. So if we just extrapolate these showers around, they're going to head right like this. So anybody north of that yellow line looks like they could get a half hour of a light shower activity through the evening hours. Notice it's into Connorsville, it's into the Liberty area, it's moving toward Franklin County, moving into the Greensburg area, and that shower activity will continue to push to the south and east. Most of it is cloud level moisture. I'm going to check another radar application I use, and it's probably coming down. It's probably hitting the ground. So we're talking about the heaviest of it just north of Abington, which is north of Liberty in southeast Indiana, and it's not all that heavy. There's no lightning or anything showing up with it. So it is scattered showers, and they won't last long. They won't be much as far as rainfall goes, and they will be long gone before we get to the morning commute, although we might be cold enough in the morning to see just a few flurries around the tri-state. Okay, so that's the shower activity. Again, it will progress south and eastward, pretty much staying the southern edge of it, pretty much staying along that yellow line. As we zoom out, what it is that you're seeing a cold front that's pushing southward, and that cold front will continue to push south. Now, the air directly north of that cold front between Cincinnati and Chicago is not all that much colder, but between Chicago and Green Bay, the temperatures drop off quite a bit. As a matter of fact, if we look up the temperature at Green Bay, let's see here. Let's see. It's at CVG, it's now 59, and up in Green Bay, give me a second. And I picked Green Bay because that's the air that's coming our way if you follow the trajectory of it for tomorrow. And so up in Green Bay, the temperature is 36 with a wind chill of 23. And so this air, the air that's right up here around Green Bay, is going to essentially come our way. Here's a secondary cold front. Here's the primary cold front right here. And both of these, and I didn't mean to draw on the map, but I don't know. Oh, I see. That's turned on. So let me erase that. Go back to this. Turn it to blue now. So I thought I erased that. No, that wasn't erased. I'm new at this, so give me a second. Make it big. I'm going to make it bigger here. Okay, I can make it bigger. I'm going to make it blue. And I don't know how to get the red lines off here, but so the primary cold front is right in here. Okay, that's the primary cold front about to come into Cincinnati. And the secondary cold front is right here coming in just north or on top of Chicago. And the temperature up here in the Green Bay area is now 36 degrees. Okay, while down here in Cincinnati, it is 59. Hey, how about that? Isn't that fancy? I'm left-handed, so you didn't know I could do that, did you? So, and I guess I should pick a better color because it doesn't show up that well on that monitor. But overall, that is what is coming our way. Now, all I've got to do is figure out how to erase this so I don't make a complete mess of it. Okay? Let's see. Maybe that... No, that doesn't do it. I just don't see an eraser tool. Oh well. Jeez, now I've made a complete mess of it. Okay, well, I can't figure out how to erase it right now. I'll have to figure that out here in a little while. So let's go ahead and continue talking about the weather. Okay, so there is that map, and you can see the two cold fronts, a little bit of shower activity for us this evening, and then everything pushes off to the south and east. So this evening, 59 right now, dropping to about 53 by 11 p.m. We do have a chance for a few showers in there. Overnight, partly to mostly cloudy, chance for a flurry in the morning with the lows dropping to 32. Now, if the low temperature drops to 32 and the winds are at 11 miles an hour, that would put the wind chill in the low 20s and some spots in the upper teens. So it'll be a cold start to your day. And then tomorrow, look at that, a high of 36 degrees. That's exactly what it is right now in Green Bay. And that's the air that's coming our way. And wind chills all day tomorrow in the 20s, and sometimes in the morning, especially in the teens, and then back to the teens in the evening. Okay, so here is what's going on. Wide view of the map. You can see the rainfall. Now, what I want you to pay attention to in particular, I've got to figure out, you know what? I know one way to erase the map. Just turn the TV off and I'll turn it back on. Okay, it's kind of like the equivalent of rebooting the computer. And then I promise you, before I try and draw with it again, I will learn how to take care of that. So let's go ahead and look at the map full screen. And as soon as the monitor comes back on, we can take a look at it that way. So we do have a lot of activity. Now notice this is Tuesday at 7 a.m., okay? So Tuesday at 7 a.m., that stuff down over Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Louisiana is going to be the trouble causer. And that trouble causer could bring a widespread swath of severe weather to parts of the U.S. Now, I want to also emphasize that we still have a lot of unsurety, a lot of questions about what's going to happen because a lot of things can change before that gets here. I mean, the Cincinnati area could end up with just rain. It could end up with rain and thunder. We could have a few severe thunderstorms. It looks like the heaviest of it will be to the south, but we definitely are going to keep an eye on this because it bears watching. Okay, so let's put this into motion. So we start 7 a.m. on Tuesday, okay? Nothing until then. And you can see here comes that low pressure system. Now notice what's happening here. You can see how the rain kind of splits. Here's the heavier rain moving north with the warm front. Here's the heavier rain and thunder with some severe activity. And it kind of splits here in Cincinnati to somewhat lighter stuff. And that is by 6:40 a.m. Wednesday. So that's almost 24 hours later. So yeah, we have the chance of some severe weather. It looks like it would be late Tuesday into Wednesday, early morning. And that is about it. And then it pushes off to the east, and we may see it end as a little bit of snow during the day on Thursday. Okay, now we're looking at thunderstorm energy. If you know something about meteorology and you follow what we call this CAPE, convective available potential energy, the easiest way to think of it is thunderstorm energy. Okay, and you can see there's a large area down to the south here where it's at a maximum, and there's an area up here. And so you would think, okay, that's out to the west. This is also Tuesday during the day, and let's see what happens to it. And this is pretty typical of what happens often, especially in when we're still into late winter or early spring, when we don't have a great deal of energy up there. Now watch what happens. Kind of dies down overnight into Wednesday and then reforms. So we do have the chance of getting some stronger thunderstorms, but it's not nearly as impressive as it was in the first couple of frames. The Weather Prediction Center says there's a marginal to slight risk of excessive rainfall from southern Iowa down into southern Arkansas, with the greatest chance Arkansas into southeast Missouri. Okay, that doesn't include the Fox 19 Now viewing area, and that's for Wednesday. And as far as the severe weather threat goes, this is Tuesday into Wednesday, The Storm Prediction Center is very rarely do they put out a moderate risk this early in the process. So this is day 5. Let's see, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Yeah, this is day 5, and they have a moderate risk along the Mississippi River Valley from northern Louisiana up into far western Kentucky. Now that's a change from yesterday, because yesterday at this time they just had it down this way, oriented more east-west, so they're tending to bring it up further north. Now we'll have to watch the trend, and so if the trend will continue, we could end up having some kind of a severe thunderstorm watch. We could have slight risk in the convective outlook, but again, right now I'm saying the evidence does not support a widespread severe weather outbreak, does not support for the Cincinnati area, but it does support it for the deep south, from basically southwestern Kentucky all the way down to the Gulf of Mexico. And each and every storm system that creates severe weather evolves in its own way. There are always some unforeseen parts of this storm that can affect us in a big way, and so we're going to keep a close eye on Tuesday into Wednesday and see what happens. And of course, we'll let you know long before it happens. And for Saturday, Ethan Emery will be in with the 6:15 streaming weather show. It's 6 p.m., not 6:15, 6 p.m. streaming weather show. And he's working with our new meteorologist, Aaron Ashley. So they may both do that together. And then on Sunday, Aaron Ashley will be in at 6 p.m. with the entire outlook. And by then, we have a much, much better idea of what's going on. And I think you'll enjoy listening to her because she knows her stuff. And one of the reasons we hired her is because she does know her stuff. She's also local. She grew up in Milford. So, so at 6 o'clock Saturday, Ethan and Aaron. And then on Sunday, it'll be Aaron Ashley. And our morning, Saturday and Sunday morning streaming shows will restart as soon as we get some staffing issues fixed. And actually, that will be not tomorrow and Sunday, but next weekend we'll be back to the 10:15 show. Okay, so once again, there it is. That's that risk that the Storm Prediction Center is putting out for next week. We will keep an eye on it, and we will make sure you know exactly what we know as soon as we know it. Okay. So let's go ahead and take a look at the Climate Prediction Center. The Climate Prediction Center says there's a little area down here with cooler than normal weather that just about touches the Fox 19 Now viewing area from the 6th to the 10th of March. But there's a large area here where it's starting to warm up in the northern and central plains. Okay, if we go and take a look at the days 8 to 14 outlook, and it overlaps this a little bit, you see that that area of warmer than normal weather enlarges quite a bit. So everything from the Rockies essentially to the East Coast, with the exception of New England, warmer than normal, and that includes us for the 8th to the 14th of March. Okay, now since this is Friday, the new weeks 3 to 4 outlook is out, and I'll show you that in just a second. If you remember when we looked at that yesterday, the one that had been issued a week ago, that was saying that the Cincinnati area and Fox 19 Now viewing area would be near normal. Well, what's going to happen here is the 3 to 4 week outlook puts everything from the Rockies to the East Coast warmer than normal, significantly warmer than normal in some cases. And so it looks like we're going to go from the second week of March well into maybe through the month with average temperatures at levels higher than normal, okay? Now, it doesn't mean every single day is going to be warmer than normal. It just means the average, once we get to the end of that period through the 26th of March, will end up warmer than normal. So that's kind of good news for most people around the tri-state. Okay, precipitation-wise, we are kind of divided between near normal and a little bit below normal on this from the 6th to the 10th, and that's very different from yesterday. Then when we get to the 8th to the 14th, we go to slightly more precipitation than normal. And then, of course, weeks 3 to 4, we're back into that La Nina pattern. Okay, remember, La Nina typically puts a bullseye, or at least an area of higher than normal rainfall over the Cincinnati area. More often than not, it's centered over us, but in this region, parts of the lakes, and so it looks like we're going to go into wetter weather than normal and warmer weather than normal as we head to late in the month of March. Okay. So your 7-day forecast looks like this. Talking about a low tonight of 32, a high tomorrow of 36. Now it's going to be gusty, so the winds will drive that wind chill into the teens and 20s, and we might see a few flurries. 19 and 39 on Sunday, mostly sunny. 25 and 46 with increasing cloud cover on Monday. Tuesday, 38 the low, 59 the high with scattered showers. Rain and thunder on Wednesday. Now, I want to clarify this. Whenever you're this far out, the storm may accelerate, may slow down. So if it accelerates, we may have more of the thunderstorm activity on Tuesday. If it slows down, it may not be till Wednesday. But it's looking like late Tuesday night into Wednesday morning is our primary time for the possibility of getting some thunderstorm activity right now. And again, we'll adjust the time, adjust the intensity. We'll let you know. We'll make sure that you don't have any questions before all that gets here, if it does, in fact, get here. Okay, then for Thursday and Friday, it looks like the weather becomes drier. There's a slight chance of a shower Friday, a few flurries Thursday, with lows in the 30s and highs in the 40s. Okay, that's the 7-day. Now let's go to beyond the 7-day forecast. It goes out to the 14th of the month, and I've got 5 out of 7 days with precipitation there. Okay, and that doesn't mean it's going to rain every single one of those days. That just means there's enough activity, enough systems coming by the area that we could see some rain each day. The good news is not any one of those days looks to have a very big system. Okay, the biggest system we're going to have in the next 2 weeks is Tuesday into Wednesday of next week. And notice the temperatures. They recover back to 55 by Sunday the 9th, into the 60s for the 10th, 11th, 12th, and 13th, and then back down to the 50s for the 14th as we head into the middle of the month. So here's your summary graphic of the 14-day high temperatures, low temperatures, compare all that to normal, and you can see that we have temperatures, a nice warming trend takes us above normal, and we stay above normal right on into the end of this forecast period, and that ends on the 14th. So the takeaway from all this is we've got a nice warming trend ahead. Still doesn't look like any kind of Arctic air outbreak. The coldest weather we've got coming our way is this weekend. But no Arctic outbreak, no early spring either. So we're not looking at 70s and 80s at this point. The very active weather pattern continues, and there's just a small chance of severe storms in that 14-day stretch. And that chance of severe storms comes mainly at that Tuesday into Wednesday. And again, we're going to keep you informed as that gets closer and closer. Okay, let me go ahead and check on what we've got going on Facebook. Usually not as many people are watching on Friday evenings. So what we've got coming our way here is Kim Webster says, good evening. Iris Posey says, good evening. Hi, Iris. How are you? And Iris asked the question, with us having a cold winter, how do you think our spring and summer will be? Well, that's a good question. Cold winters do not necessarily bring on cold springs and cold summers, and they don't necessarily bring on the opposite. But in this case, what we're looking at is we think that the warming trend is going to be kind of slow to start. We just saw it heading into the middle of March, so we're going above normal. And I think once we get into late March and April, all the indications are that we're going to start being warmer than normal for a while. So right now, I think wetter than normal and warmer than normal from mid-March into mid-April, maybe even into early May. And again, all that could change. So that's what it looks like, Iris. Okay. Erase it with my finger, she said. Okay, well, I just turned the TV off, and I will try that. I will try and erase it with my finger. Okay. Thank you, Iris, for the advice. Susan Wally says, good evening. Hi, Susan. I hope you're doing okay. I hope the animals are fine out there. It's going to be a little cold to feed them if you have to do it in the morning because we're looking at wind chills down in the teens and 20s. Shelley Seaman says she guesses she's going to have to turn the pellet stove back on tomorrow. Yeah, I would recommend that. And Shelley, it also depends upon now, for example, my wife and I live in a house that originally was built in 1837. We think it was completely rebuilt other than the foundation in 1871. But it's a house that's brick and mainly brick, but it is drafty as can be. And even though we had all the windows replaced, and when it gets cold and drafty, we shut the windows and lock them down to make them tighter, we still get cold. And so, yeah, you're going to have to get that pellet stove going, but it also really depends upon how airtight your house is. So, but it's going to be cold. There's no doubt about it because we're looking at a high temperature in the 30s both Saturday and Sunday. But Sunday morning, even though the winds will diminish down into the actual temperature down into the teens. Okay? And Betty Plyman or Pleeman, Betty, you'll have to tell me one of these days how to pronounce that so I don't keep mispronouncing it if I am. But she says, good evening. All right. And those are all the comments. Like I said, typically on Friday, not as many people are watching. They're doing something else or they just don't feel like talking about it because they're looking forward to the weekend. So let me go back to the 7-day forecast. We'll go over that and we will end it for tonight. Okay. And as soon as the 7-day comes up, I will give it to you full screen and we'll go from there. There it is. Okay, so your 7-day forecast is looking like this. Low tonight, 32 with that wind chill in the teens and 20s. 36 the high tomorrow. The wind chill still in the 20s and a few flurries are possible. The winds do die down as we head into Sunday morning at 19, but I was talking about this specific issue with Ethan Emery earlier, and he was saying, yeah, he wouldn't be surprised to see some wind chills briefly in the single digits Sunday morning. And even though the winds are going to be much, much lighter, there'll still be enough wind flow that could happen. 39 the high on Sunday. Monday, 25 and 46 with clouds increasing again. Look for scattered showers Tuesday, 38 and 59. Rain and thunder on Wednesday with a low of 52, a high of 62. And these are the 2 days we're going to watch very closely for the possibility of some severe weather. And again, right now, all the evidence says if there's a big outbreak of severe weather, it's going to stay in the deep south, okay? So we are not, just to make sure everybody's clear, and because there's so much bad information out there on the internet, so many amateurs that think they know what they're talking about, and they look at one model run and go nuts over it. So we are not forecasting severe storms or a severe storm outbreak in the Cincinnati area or the Fox 19 Now viewing area at this time. We think there will be some rain and thunder. We think the worst of it looks like it's going to be to the south, but we certainly have the potential for some of that very unstable air to work northward into our viewing area, and so we're keeping an eye on it. So right now, the best thing we can tell you is just be aware, keep your heads up, listen, and by the time it gets here, there won't be a surprise if it does develop in the tri-state. All right, and then so that's Tuesday and Wednesday. Thursday, a few flurries are possible. Windy conditions. Friday, a slight chance of rain around the tri-state. Okay, when we get to beyond the 7-day forecast, looks kind of good. Here we go. The high temperatures do recover back into the 50s Saturday and Sunday. Then a 4-day stretch in the 60s. Back down into the 50s on Friday. It's still very active. I don't think any rain for the 10th and the 11th at this point. But I do think there's a chance Saturday and Sunday, the 8th and 9th, and then the 12th through the 14th. However, precipitation is so hard to forecast, and it's really better just to say it's very active. There'll be scattered showers out there, and it may or may not happen 4 or 5 out of those days because it's just something we don't have, not just us here at Fox 19, but nobody has the skill to forecast whether or not the showers will fall on Thursday or Friday this far out. So we're just saying that it's active enough that don't be surprised if that many days has some rainfall. All right, so the summary graphic looks like this. High temperatures, low temperatures. Look at that nice warming trend as we head past the 6th, and that puts us above normal for quite some time with a 1, 2, 3, 4-day stretch in the 60s. All right, now let me take one more check and any comments on Facebook. Okay. Jan Scherpenberg says, good evening, hope all is well. Jan, I hope you're doing fine, and I hope things are going well for you. And I don't know if you still live over near the airport, but if you do, I hope things are just fine. Okay, well, that's it. Thank you for joining me. It's Friday. Enjoy your Friday evening. Enjoy your weekend. Kind of stay warm because it's going to be cold, and then we have that warming trend coming next week. And again, don't forget, starting at 6 p.m. Saturday and Sunday, it'll probably be Ethan Emery and Aaron Ashley on Saturday at 6 p.m. And on Sunday at 6 p.m., it'll be Aaron Ashley and the two of them in combination on Saturday, Aaron alone on Sunday. We'll have the latest for you. Wherever you have found this, you'll be able to see it there and give you the latest on that chance of severe weather moving into the tri-state. So that's it. Thank you for joining me. Have yourself a great weekend.